Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Facebook video. Today, we are celebrating National Certified Nursing Assistants Week. And I'm really grateful to have Karen Hahn-Walter here to chat with me, who's a certified nursing assistant, or known as a CNA. So, Karen, thanks so much for taking some time to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm glad to
be
here.
And happy CNA Week.
Yay.
So I think I want to start talking about the first thing I'm curious is sort of what do you think people misunderstand or don't understand about what you do as a CNA? Can you kind of enlighten everyone on what that is?
Sure. As a retired teacher and enjoying my grandchildren, I told my friends, church, and I was in a book club and everything that, I've decided that I would like to be a CNA for hospice. And then they said to me, "Oh, how can you do that? Oh, that's, going to be tough on you." And so I said, "No, it's a ministry and I feel led to do that."
Interesting. So did you have any personal experience? Like what sort of got you to that point?
Well, as a retired teacher, I taught kindergarten for years and little children in elementary school, and I was kind of their parents during the day and knew them well. But starting around 2000, my mom got really ill, and actually both my parents I was caregivers for them, but she fell and had a stroke and went to shock trauma for 4 months. And, the whole medical model thing,
Was that your first sort of experience with that? Okay.
Yes. And she broke a hip, and then she had we don't know if she fell first or had a stroke. And then we went to all kinds of hospitals and rehabs, and she never got better. She was trached. She had a G tube, and we took care of her. And by the grace of God, the doctors didn't think this was June till Christmas that she would make it home off the vent. And she lived 2 weeks at home, and hospice was able to help us and, teach us how to take care of her. And it was a blessing. We shared Christmas with her. And the same thing happened to my dad in 2013. 2 days after I retired and was away on vacation, he fell and he didn't want to wear his necklace. And my brother lived next door, but he didn't check him that night because my dad was independent. He had walked a mile that day. And the same thing happened. He was in the hospital. He got, pressure sore with the stroke. He couldn't swallow. And he went through the whole gambit again. And he didn't make it from Sinai to Gilchrist to home, but we tried to do that. And then for 7 years, I took care of my aunt with Alzheimer's while I was teaching full time. And I kind of was in charge of a team of 4 people. And I did like nights and whatever I could do and, manage that. So I look at it as an opportunity to give back because I love my parents, my aunt, and I know what I went through, and I really appreciate the opportunity now to help others that are going through the same thing.
I think it's so interesting, the response that people give when you say that you're working in hospice. It's always just this, and it's so, if you talk to anybody that works for hospice or the Chesapeake or works in hospice, their reaction, the employee is like, "Oh, no, you've got it wrong." Like, yes, everybody tends to be like, "Oh, that's got to be so hard and
depressing and hard. And how can you do that? Watch people, passing away and going through those stages and watch the family grief." And, I just have strong faith, and I know what I went through, and I know how much I appreciated the help that I got. And that quality time with your family at the end of life is just so important.
Yeah. And we talk about that being sort of a sacred time. Like it does feel sort of like a privilege to be a part of that journey, right?
It is.
So yeah. You're a certified nursing assistant in our Rebecca Fortney Inpatient Care Center.
Yes.
So that's a little different than some of the other folks that go. You were talking about your own personal experience having people in the house. Can you tell me a little bit, like day to day, what that looks like at the in the Inpatient Care Center?
Sure. First of all, I want to say we're a strong team, and it's a privilege and honor to work with Dr. Bush and all the RNs. They're really compassionate and kind and well-trained. And, most of them are retired from the hospital and ICU or CCU. So it's a learning curve for me with all the medical knowledge. We have the opportunity to go, the CNAs do every morning when Dr. Bush and the nurses go in rounds. We go in and see what the patients, need and, all about that. And we usually try to get our work done early, like bathing or, positioning patients so that, the families can come in and relax and enjoy their loved one. So we all work together. share knowledge, and, we're all part of the care team. We all have our responsibilities, but everyone pitches in and helps each other. And so that's really neat.
That's a huge thing, to be a part of that team, and an integral part. Like, you play a really important part. You're the day to day. You're seeing that person on a really, deep level that the physician or the nurse might not have that same, intense interaction with. So you're
because
the
we're
eyes
right
and ears.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm a talker, so I don't mind talking to people about anything. And I share my experiences when it's appropriate. I can never say I know how they feel, but I can tell them how hospice helped my family and why I'm here.
And I want to, just for anybody that's watching that might not be familiar, the Inpatient Care Center is sort of the hospital for hospice, right? Like, it's, if someone's, and you could probably speak to this better than me, but if somebody's symptoms aren't really being managed, they're on hospice support, but their symptoms aren't being managed at home, and they need that little extra level of 24/7.
Yes. So if they can't breathe, or and there's so much pain, then they can do the IV medicine, and they can get them comfortable quickly, or with the pain pump too. And so that's so important, because you want them to be comfortable. You want the quality end of life, and no one wants to see their loved one suffering.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about the Rebecca Fortney Inpatient Care Center is that it allows the families to be there, and
Yes.
it doesn't feel so much like a hospital. It has less of the, it kind of keeps all of that under wraps, so that families can really enjoy their time together without beeps and, disturbances.
Yes, it's very beautiful. The rooms are like your own, living room. They can go out on their deck. The beds just unplug, and, at different times with COVID, it's been hard, but families could enjoy the family, area, and they have, the coffee and tea and goodies, and and we still allow people in, which is a blessing, because so many people now at this time can't see their loved ones.
Well, and I just wanted to ask you a little bit about that. Since COVID-19, I know your world has changed. I mean, everyone's world has changed, but for those that are providing, frontline healthcare support, your world has definitely changed. Can you talk a little bit about what's been different for you?
Sure. At first we were kind of scared, like everyone, but people are people, and our positive patients are just like any other patient. We treat them with love and compassion and meet their needs, and we just use the proper PPE to protect ourselves and our families. We have that in place, so we feel pretty good about what we're doing, and anything when it's a new thing is scary, no matter what in life. And
Right.
This is quite an unusual thing that has happened to the whole world. So
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about that, how you've had to utilize additional PPE to protect yourselves and to protect the patients and your families. So how have you sort of adapted the care that you're giving? Because you are in full, you've got a mask, you've got shield, you are covered pretty much head to toe. That's got to change how you interact with people.
Well, it's hard for the elderly and family members, because they can't see our mouth.
Right.
And it's a woo, 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 woo sometimes, they can't understand. So one of the patients said to me, "I like how you speak." I said, "Well, I was a former teacher. I can
belt
speak."
it.
Yes. And you really have to. And you don't want to yell at anyone, but they can't. If they're hard of hearing, they can't hear you, because, you always have your face covering. But then when you go in the rooms, you put it all on. And then you have, your N95, and then your surgical mask, and then your shield, which we're thankful to have all. But it's just not easy. And you have to be careful, because if you move your arms too fast, the whole thing pops off.
So you have to even adjust how you're, oh my gosh, that's so true.
Yeah, and then you're warm, because you have it all on, your feet, your head, and then the gowns. But, you adjust, and when you come out of the room, you sanitize step at a time, and then you put your face covering on and drink water. I drink 32 ounces of water, 3 of them a day when I'm there, to keep myself healthy, and because I'm thirsty, and you have to take care of yourself too, right? Because you're giving all of this
external care to other people, you need to make sure the internal for you is
right.
taken
Well,
care
what I've always done in life, I'm an athlete, but I work out, I stretch. Even when I taught, I was a more patient, loving teacher when I had all my exercises done.
Yeah.
Calisthenics, I have an elliptical, a treadmill, a bicycle, and all of my stretching things. And that's what I try to do. And I walk my dogs. I have 3 pugs every day.
Yep.
So all those good things. And a lot of us are walking anyway, 5 to 6 miles when we're at the RFIC.
When you're going through and seeing all your patients. Yeah, I'm sure. Absolutely.
So that's healthy, and it's so beautiful outside. So the grounds are gorgeous. And if we need to take a break and just relax, then we can do that too.
That's awesome. So I know you have to be really careful with patient confidentiality, but I was wondering if you might have a story or something that you'd like to share about a patient or a family interaction that really impacted you or left an impression on you.
And that's a hard question because we love all our patients. Of course, the ones that stay longer, we really love, and it's hard. It's hard.
You probably form a little deeper connection to those.
Oh, sure. Sometimes they come in and they don't have clothing. We might go out and buy them special things. I know Cindy in the cafeteria will buy them special foods for pleasure tasting. We usually personally give them things, and we try to spend time with them and, get their favorite music, their favorite shows, speak to their family. It's hard because there are so many that have made a difference in my life, and just so many have had good attitudes about, I'm okay. I want to be here. My family's here. I've made this decision. We've had, weddings, all kinds of really neat, experiences. But it is sad because sometimes when you've been off for a few days, you come back, you say, oh, they're not here anymore. And so, especially if they've been there for a couple months, or you've had a respite that, comes like every 5-6 weeks, and you've had,
So
a
just
lot of
clarify, a respite is somebody that comes and just stays for a short period
for 5 days to give their family a break. They
Gotcha.
might be traveling or just very, very tired. And we've had some funny things that have happened with some of the respites, the way they wander around, you find them different places. And I mean, we're always, listening to the bell, but it's like, we have to really, put the bed alarm on, listen to the bell, and check all the time when you have a respite, because especially if they can walk around,
right.
You need to know where they are. And some of them are really funny because they have dementia, but they're really sweet and they make you laugh, and, those kind of things.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced being at the bedside when somebody passed?
Yes, because really if I know someone's close because of their breathing and their vital signs, we watch them very closely. We might have a video on. See, it's been different because we really miss our volunteers. We had vigil volunteers that would stay by the bedside and sing or read scripture or books. We'd have some that would come in and help us, retired nurses. So because we don't have our volunteers, we monitor very closely, and I can just tell with the breathing and just the vital signs. And so I check, we all do every 10, 15 minutes, or we might have them on video. So, with our positive COVID patients, we always have them on videos. So we watch very closely, and yes, I have. And, and then I usually go and tell the nurse, and she has to confirm it.
Right. Right.
And then she takes care of it.
How about your interaction with the families? Because what you do is not only support the patients that are in the RFICC, but also the families that come and visit. Can you talk a little bit about what you do to help them?
Sure. There's a lot of health education that goes on. We have that really good booklet that we can refer them to, but they always ask us more questions because we're in there more and we're doing the bathing and the real close care. So we'll talk about the signs of end of life and the modeling and, like how the breathing has changed. It's a learning curve for me, even though, I've studied in teaching a master's in health education and a lot on epidemiology, but this is new. But a lot of the CNAs, have done this for years, and I watch them. We work together as a team, and I listen to like Marianne or Celine or Asia or Amber, and the education that goes on. And then I've been able to learn that way of the things to say and how to say it, because you want to be very diplomatic,
right?
And you aren't,
Well, and it's a really intense emotional time. Like you're meeting
right.
people in a very vulnerable, and the family dynamics. There's all sorts
Right.
of things. Well, thank you so
Mm-hmm.
much, Karen, for taking time and talking to me and sort
Sure.
of explaining what CNAs, all the awesome things that CNAs provide and do. And happy CNA week again. I am really
Yes,
grateful
thank you.
for you spending some time with me today.
Yes, and I thank you for the opportunity, and I wish you well.
Thanks.
And enjoy your day, and I look forward to going to work tomorrow.
Yeah, that sounds great. I also, before we sign off, I need to thank the John and Kathy Belcher Institute for their generous support of these community education programs. So thanks to them as well. Thanks.
Okay, you have a good day now. Bye-bye.